can't buy a home because they can't even afford the rent. My God, the economy is so darn screwed. And then and I'm officially checking in over here at Moments with Us. You all check in. Let us know where you're watching from and how you are doing. Of course, I'm checking in from Northern New Jersey. Let's head into this Dollar Tree over in Maplewood. State Well is also a plus.
These past few years showed me.
Hey family, welcome back to another video. This is Shauna, and I'm officially checking in over here at Moments with Us. You all check in. Let us know where you're watching from and how you are doing. Of course, I'm checking in from Northern New Jersey. The economy is so darn rigged. I cannot believe how much rent is right now. First, it was go buy a home so you don't have to rent. Now people can't afford to buy a home and they're forced to rent. And now rent is so darn high, people are thinking about buying a home and they can't buy a home because they can't even afford the rent. My God, the economy is so darn screwed. And then when it comes down to taking out loans, a loan you used to be able to pay off. Let's say you got your car loan. Compare your car loan, 3 to 5 years ish, depending, right? Depending on things like your credit and all, take that into consideration. But a simple loan, you used to be able to pay it off within 3 to 5 years, depending on the loan amount. Okay, simple car loan. With the interest that's charged on top of interest, simple loans are turning into 50 years of debt, basically. Maybe I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but it feels that way, especially when it's interest on top of interest. Listen to what I'm saying. This is the U.S. economy, guys. This is how the U.S. stay up. If people like us, you and I, stay in debt and have to keep paying in, that's how the U.S. is staying up. It's not all the working class people. It's just building the U.S. because, yeah, we all working class people. But it's the debt that we continue to have to pay off. I feel like every average American is in more debt than they can afford. And they're forced into debt. It's not like we want to go into debt, right? We are literally forced into debt. I don't know, y'all. I just feel like it's too many people struggling in today's society, economy. It's too many people struggling over the same stuff, you know. Everybody's story is starting to sound the same. That's the case. Everybody's story is starting to sound the same. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. You know, the rent just went up. Some people are trying to refinance. It's a better budget, you know, their bills. And once that happens, guess what? They found out once they refinance, it actually, you know, certain bills actually became worse. It became worse for them. So I don't know, fam. Y'all gotta let me know. Y'all feeling it? Because I know I'm feeling it. So now they have this program. I'm over here scrolling and I see something that say you can do your rent for my bad, y'all. Rent now. No, it's with your rent. Buy now, pay later. Hold on, let's find it. All right, here we go, guys. It's buy now, pay later. So somebody here saying that buy now, pay later services could soon be used for rent payments. Housing is a basic need, and turning rent into a credit product crosses a line when working families are pushed to finance rent. How the hell are we pushed to How you going to finance rent? It raises serious questions about affordability, wages, and who this economy is really serving. Because it ain't serving us. We are serving folks. Okay, it says innovation should make life more stable, not more in debit. Yes, it is. It is. It's going to. So it says it's a Klarna-like buy now, pay later may soon be available for more Americans renting homes and apartments. Capitalism breeds innovation, but the innovation is always new ways to exploit the working class and transfer their wealth upwards, which is very true. It's very sad to see how it comes to this. Very sad. And to see how many families actually have to use this and not know that they're actually going to be paying more. I highly suggest talking to your landlord about your financial situation and just hopefully y'all can come up with an agreement to, just get the payments done. With avoiding these fees, because that's all it is. These are fee-based companies where they're making most of their money off of charging you that interest fee. So renters use Rent Now, Pay Later. It's a service to manage monthly payments, but fees raise concern because, y'all, listen. So it says New York, rent can eat up an entire paycheck. Actually, rent in New York is probably about 2 to 3 paychecks, okay? They saying a growing number of renters are turning to a financial product that promises relief by letting them split the bill for a price. So there's a so-called Rent Now, Pay Later service that have emerged over the past few years as housing costs climb and paychecks grow less predictable, particularly for lower income and gig economy workers. Let's see, companies such as Flex, Livable, and more recently Affirm says breaking rent into multiple payments can help renters manage cash flow, but consumer advocates warn the products typically function like short-term loans, layering fees onto already strained budgets, and in some cases carrying triple-digit effective interest rates, people, raising questions about whether they ease financial pressure or deepen them. I'm sure it'll ease it for that time being, knowing you'll get your rent paid on time. And then you got to take into consideration about your late fees for your rent. Is it worth having that late fee or this high interest that I'm sure that they have with these rental loans? So here's a person, Kellen Johnson, started using Flex to split up his payments about 2 years ago, they're saying. Instead of paying the whole $1,850 of his rent on the first of the month, Johnson would pay $1,350 on a date and then $500 on the 15th for the service. Flex collected a $14.99 monthly subscription fee as well as 1% of the total rent, which for Johnson was about $1,850, bringing his monthly charges for the app more than $33. That's actually pretty not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad, actually. Johnson said he is willing to pay the extra cost in part because he worked as an independent contract delivery person for Amazon at the time. It wasn't an expense that I was incurring, but I went ahead as it was more convenient, who now work as a driver for senior citizens, they saying. They say roughly around 109 million Americans, or about 42.5 million households, are renters in the United States. Less and less home buyers each year, family. Pay attention to that. There are less and less more families buying homes now. They say in the Census Bureau estimated in 2024 that a large share of those households pay 30% or more of their monthly income on rent. Yes, we do. The Bureau considers such households to be considered burdened. Yes, we are. Meaning rent consumes so much of their income that they have less ability to plan for future expenses or build wealth. They want us stuck, family. They want us stuck. That is why. Rent Now, Pay Later services generally operate the same way. The company pays the landlord the full rent when due, okay, and the renter repays the company in 2 or more installments in the course of the month because rent can be such a large expense. It's still going to be the same amount now, more coming out within 1 month though, believe it or not. So if you could just set aside the money yourself, and then great. Because at the end of the day, you still got to pay the same amount of money to this buy now, pay later service. They saying that many of these services come with fees. The fees can be structured differently, but should be generally thought as a cost of credit. Consumers advocates warm. In Johnson's case, he pays $33.49 for a 2-week loan of $500 for an effective annual percentage rate of 172% when expressed using standard consumer lending calculations. Renters should be skeptical of any financing provider that have partnered with the landlord and be skeptical of anything that sells itself as no fees or no interest. Pierce previously worked at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Launched in 2019, Flex is one of the largest companies focused on splitting rent payments. The company says its 1.5 million customers now send about $2 billion per month in rent through its system. And several of the country's largest landlords actually accept Flex as a payment option. Flex says most of its customers are lower income renters with weaker credit profiles. The company reports, a medium credit score of 604 amongst its users, and says about 1 in 3 customers work more than one job to make ends meet. A Flex spokesperson also said that the average customer uses the service 3 to 4 times per year. Johnson uses it every single month. Live Blue does not charge a subscription fee. This is another one, but charges renters a fee of $30 to $40 according to the company's help page. Their fees can translate into an effective annual percentage rate of 104 to 139%. And the buy now, pay later company Affirm said that this month that it is piloting a program allowing some customers to split rent into 2 payments. The program is being tested in partnership with ECU. I think I'm saying that right. A company that reports rent payments to credit bureaus to help consumers build credit. And a firm spokesperson said the company is not charging renters interest or fees to use the product, but might charge landlords a fee, which would mean most landlords would not accept it. And if they do, that charge fee would eventually go on to the renters. So as another financing option, landlords are incredibly accepting credit cards for rent payments. I remember that one time I had to pay my rent with a credit card. So Built, a credit startup, built its brand around targeting renters when it launched, and some tenants also use credit cards to accumulate rewards or points. But paying rent by credit also card can be costly. Landlords typically pass the processing fee on to the tenants. Exactly. I used Cash App before to pay my rent too, and my landlord passed that fee on to me. So depending on the card issuer and payment networks, the fees can range about 2.5 to 3.5 of the rent for a renter paying $1,500 a month. That translates to roughly $37 to $52.50 in fees, a monthly cost comparable to what services like Livable and Flex charges. So economists and renters advocates argue that none of these financing options address the fundamental issue of affordability in the rental market, because that's the issue. If we gotta get down here to putting rent on our credit, literally crediting our rent, then there's a freaking bigger problem. You gotta finance your rent? Come on, man. If that don't spark no daggone sparks, then we gotta get it together. The issue is way bigger than, oh my God, I gotta finance my rent. My God, it's way bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. Rent should not be so high in a place like the United States of America. To buy a home in the United States of America should not be so darn costly. Livable income should be a livable income. I don't know, y'all. This type of stuff pissed me off because I'm going through it. My gas and electric bill combined this month is almost $600 goddamn dollars. Almost $600, family. It's ridiculous. And I know more and more people are complaining about that. So imagine having to pay your almost $2,000 rent on top of all the other bills, and then a gas and electric bill that just slap you in the face, coming in at almost $600 when your usage remained the same, and all of a sudden they changed their fees and you got to pay all these crazy daggone fees. I think I'm done with this article because I think I'm about getting pissed off. I am. I am. I am, y'all. They saying merchants already passed along credit card processing costs to customers in the form of higher prices. And advocates worry that the rental market could adopt similar patterns. So this is why this is not a good thing. Fees on top of fees would be passed on to those renters, to us renters. Let me know how y'all feel about this, though. And this actually could push rent to be up higher because more and more people. Let me get y'all back over here. Y'all know why this is a problem, though it can be helpful. It's a problem at the same time because more and more landlords are going to catch on to these programs. They're going to know about these programs, and they're going to know about these fees, which would some of them go to the landlord. So off the rip, rent will go higher because they already calculating them fees into the rent. And it's going to be somewhere in the terms and conditions or somewhere in the lease saying if you plan on using flexible, lovable, livable, whatever they're called, or breakdown payments for your rent, you will be charged the fees basically. You will have to pay extra on top of paying extra through whatever service you're using to pay your rent. And some people are already being charged extra. What is it? A processing fee when you pay your rent online. And then those management offices have to process your rent. You have to pay a fee on top of that as well. God forbid, for some reason you're late and you have to pay another fee while using, right? While using the same service to make sure your rent gets there on time. I don't know. I just see fees on top of fees on top of fees. I see more debt, more debt, more debt, and more debt. That's all I see when I see stuff like this. Man, oh man. What have the world come to? We are able to finance our rent, basically. Even though that little extra $35 a month, or whatever it is, I guess it depends on how much you take out. But $35 a month, considering that a lot of people late fees are like $50 to $100. I'll take the $35 a month. I ain't gonna lie, I'll take it. Let me know what y'all would do. Have any of y'all known anyone to actually use one of these finance rental companies, or have you used it yourself? Let us know in the comments down below. We're going to leave this video right here where it's at. The economy is still in the same place it was at yesterday, or probably even getting worse. And it's so sad. Until next time, y'all, thank you all for coming along. If you are new here and you did enjoy today's video, all you have to do is subscribe just like that. And of course, if you've been here before, thank you so much for tuning back in and coming to hang with me. My voice is slowly coming back, slowly but surely. We'll get there one day at a time. Until next time, y'all, this is Shauna, and I'm officially checking out from Moments with Us. You all stay prepped, stay blessed, stay safe, and most of all, remain beautiful queens and kings. Love you all, and God bless. Peace out.